Your self-respect is shattered because you keep on breaking promises to yourself. So you have to do a one promise protocol. Give yourself one small promise that you must keep for the next 30 days. This is the simple solution, as you'll see, to many of the issues we face, is breaking promise to ourselves and killing our identity. So pick one promise and keep it. And lastly, you need to find a pack of wolves. That's the biggest thing. Your 80% mediocrity is so normal to you that you don't think it's a big deal. And as soon as you joined a tribe or you joined a pack of wolves and saw everybody else living at 100%, you'd immediately realize what you've been leaving on the table. There are guys out there who have given up on life, but they are not like the man I talked about, who is basically the guy in hospice, the 60s father who has given up on life because everything is so bad, he thinks there's no hope for him. He is struggling for basic survival. That is a man who's given up on life. There's another man out there who has given up on life, but in a different way. He's the 80% man. The 80% man has given up on becoming elite. He's given up on becoming his potential. In every single area of his life, he's settling for 80%. This man has given up on excellence. And this is hell for that man, because this guy has two lives he lives. He has the life that everybody sees. A lot of times this guy is successful as a career or a business owner. He's in decent shape. His family life is good enough. Everything in his life is good enough. And many of the people around him say that he's the guy they look up to. He could even be their mentor. He could be the one that they wish their life was like. So he has that life. But then he has the other life that nobody sees. He's got the life of vices. He's got the life of unorganization, of lack of discipline. But he is a man who can do good enough at 80%, so he's getting by. And getting by is a very, very comfortable place to be. And I'm going to take you in this podcast about why that happens, if that's you, how to get out of it, and who this is affecting. So if you feel like you are living life at 80%, not reaching your potential, then this is the podcast episode for you. So keep listening. This guy has the double life. He's got the life of 80% that he feels on the inside that's tearing his soul apart, and he's got the life that everybody sees of success. And this is hell for this man, because every single day he is waking up not knowing which of those two guys is going to win the battle. He tells himself at night, oh, everything's okay. Everything's fine. You're doing good enough. You're doing good enough, Chris. You made a sale today. You didn't eat horrible. You only had 2 drinks instead of 5. You're good enough. So he hit the 80% mark. So he's telling himself he's okay. And then he goes to sleep and he wakes up and he actively builds the life that is tearing him apart. He's working too much. He's not fixing his discipline. So his business and career and business might even be growing, but since he lacks the systems and discipline and consistency to actually compound his effectiveness, he's just creating more of a hellscape for himself. This guy is perennially busy and disorganized and out of sorts. This guy is in hell because he is watching him lose himself every single day, and that inner frustration just eats him alive. He can see his years slowly advancing. He's like, okay, I'm 30, 35, I'm 40, I'm 50. I'm still not the man I could be. But he is perpetually stuck because life is just good enough. And he has this eternal battle within himself of, am I going to be the man who I could be? Or am I going to be the guy who just accepts life as good enough? And then he has all these outside voices telling him that things are good enough for you. My friends are good enough. They say I'm good enough. My family says I'm good enough. Everyone on TV says I should just settle and not hustle and not go for these things. But in his soul, he knows he could be more. So he has this daily soul-level crippling battle between himself and the man he could be, and that causes him eternal hell and frustration. This guy also feels like a fraud because everybody else thinks he's got his shit together. Everybody else thinks he's disciplined. Everyone else thinks he's a success, but he has this double life that nobody else sees. He's unorganized. He has vices. He does things He looks in the mirror and he does things that only he knows about. And I know this kind of guy because I talk to many of them. And a lot of these guys join Men of Fire, and we work through them and rip them out of this complacency and this constant comfort seeking. I had parts of this in my own life. That's why I speak to these things. I only speak to the things that I've experience with and guys I've actually helped with. The 80% man is a man. It can also happen after you've made progress. And this is another level of transformation. If a guy joins Men of Fire, he's 500 pounds. I've never had a 500-pound guy, but let's just say I did. 500 pounds, he goes from 500 pounds to 250 pounds. He's cut his weight in half. He is not in that survival, desperate state anymore. He's not feeling that visceral pain of failing. And because of that, he's at the 80% mark. For him to be ripped and shredded and be his elite self, what he initially signed up for, he needs to lose another 50 pounds, let's say. But he's not in pain anymore. Actually, he feels really good. Things are good enough. So my job as his coach is to take him from accepting that 80% level of himself and inspiring him and holding him accountable and pushing him to get to 100%. So that can even happen in a program, but I'm aware of that. I can take you from 0% to 80%, and then the challenge, then get your next level up is 80% to 100%. So that can even happen there. It could be a guy who's making $50,000 a month in his business, and that's good enough for him. But he says, I want to make $100,000 in my business. So he wants to go from 80% to 100%. But it's not a real crisis for him because it's good enough. He can go out to eat, he can take his family on vacations. He doesn't have daily financial stress. So things are good enough. And because he doesn't have that visceral pain, he's okay. And this is a problem because this man can never decide who he wants to be. He's like, part of me wants to be better. Part of me wants to be elite. I see people who are elite. I would love to have that life. But also, things aren't that bad. And as long as things aren't that bad, he's always going to remain in this hell. The things aren't that bad hell. Because he tells himself that as a cope to sleep at night. But he knows that's not the truth for him. This guy is probably performing in his job. He's probably performing in his business, doing 80%. But he could also be doing 80%, but that last 20%, he's absolutely failing. He could be failing as a father, failing as a husband, failing in his personal discipline. And that is the case for many of these guys, especially personal discipline, health, fitness, vices, being a man of integrity and character. This guy overall could be at 80%, but he could be massively failing in that last 20% area of his life in the most important areas. That's why this guy can feel like he's in hell. That's why it's so crippling and painful for him. You might say, well, why is life that bad? This guy's doing pretty good. And that also causes this man pain. He's like, why am I in so much pain? All my family and friends tell me I'm doing fine. But he's like, no, I know that I'm doing these things or not doing these things that are slowly killing me. I feel like a fraud. I'm failing at my health and fitness and personal discipline. I'm allowing my one body to waste away in the one life I have. My children are getting older. I'm losing my time with them and I'm not showing up for them. I'm not present for them. In a couple years, they're going to be gone for good and I will never get that time back. But I keep on making excuses for myself, keep on thinking about it, keep on feeling about it, keep on planning to make a change, and I never do, all because life is just too comfortable. He doesn't have that immediate pain to move forward. He might be slamming it and crushing it in other areas of his life, but he's underperforming in these areas that men need to light their souls on fire. If you're a man and you're not crushing it as a father and a husband, you feel like a failure. I don't care how much money is in the bank. Because that is your purpose as a man, is to lead a family, is to lead people. That's who you should be. So you could be at work, everyone could be high-fiving you, saying, hey, great job, Chris, here's a promotion. But if you know you're not giving a good example to your children and you're showing them an 80% father, raising future 80% fathers, then you're going to feel like a failure. If your employees and clients think you're disciplined, but you know you're living an undisciplined life, the second life, then you're going to feel like a failure. And that internal battle will rage every single day, but it's so hard for you because life is good enough. Life overall is just good enough. Life for the 80% man is also hell because the thing that keeps him there is he doesn't fear complete collapse. He fears stagnation. Like the guy I just made a podcast about, the 60-something father whose life was in collapse. He gave up because he was already drowning. He was like, what's the point? In his mind, he said, what's the point? I can't fix myself. I'm already drowning. That's a type of man. This guy has given up because life is just too comfortable. It's like being plugged into the Matrix. He's saying, yeah, I'm going to give up on being 100%. I'm going to give up on my potential. What's the point? Is it that good anyway? No, it's not that good anyway. That's for other people. Look at them. They're working so hard. Look at me. I'm at the country club. I'm sleeping in. I'm drinking some beers. Life is pretty good for me. And they convince themselves of this so that they don't have to do the work, and they're just constantly stuck in here. But this man has this inner fear. This is where the pain comes from every day. He has this inner fear of, well, how am I going to be remembered? What's my legacy going to be? Stagnation is the 80% man's pain, not total collapse. He's not going to totally collapse. Even if everything failed today, he'd still be fine. He's got some money in the bank. He's got money coming in. Like, his family isn't on the verge of collapse. His body isn't on the verge of collapse, which is what keeps him there. But if this guy knows he could be more, that causes hell. That causes inner friction. He builds this life because, lastly, life is hell for this man. Lastly, life is hell for this man because he has built a prison cell for himself. He is holding the key, but he refuses to use it. That's why it's so enraging for him. He's holding the key to his freedom, but he refuses to use it. So why is the 80% man mindset dangerous? Because it gives you the illusion of safety. You tell yourself at night as a cope to help you sleep, everything's okay, it's not that bad. But it really is. You're slowly rotting away. Your health is slowly rotting away. Your respect from your family members is slowly rotting away. Your business potential is slowly rotting away. The business you could have, everything that you could have is slowly rotting away because you keep telling yourself it's fine. It's fine. Because these little vices and comfortable lifestyle you have are just good enough for you. You're stuck in the 80% good enough land. You're not like the guys in Men of Fire who are crushing it as, I've got surgeons, multiple business owners, people who are, you'd say, all right, these guys are extremely successful in, monetarily, I'm talking like monetarily, business-wise, career-wise, extremely successful, and their husbands, fathers, crushing it at that, and they're waking up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., doing workouts, meal prepping everything, doing 10 times more than the 80% man, but they're happy, joyful, patient, present. They're attacking life and going after life at 100%. You're not that guy. You are the guy who is settling and struggling. It's dangerous because as you lose your potential, you also lose your family's respect, and you also lose your soul as a man. I did a podcast called Iron John, and it's about a story of a boy who loses a golden ball to this troll, and then the troll keeps it. The man gets older and older, and basically the golden ball is the man's inner fire that leaves him as he gets older. And every year he convinces himself that it's okay, and he never gets it back until he's just complacent and dead on the inside. That is your soul as a man. It's, I could have this body. I could have this personal standard of self-discipline. I could have this income in business and kingdom for myself. I could have this relationship and respect for my wife and kids, but I'm settling for this lazy 80% complacent version. That is your soul leaving you. That's whenever guys find themselves smoking weed, drinking, and engaging in things that distract them from reality because they hate that reality that they're not living up to their potential. It's also dangerous because when you're constantly lying to yourself, saying that things are okay, it erodes your self-respect and your self-trust. And whenever you have that constant friction within you, that shows up to your wife and kids as snappiness, as impatience, as unpresence. That lack of discipline shows up to your family as constantly on screens because you didn't get things done, because you're distracted throughout the day. All of this compounds outside of you and affects your family, not just you. It affects your employees in your business, your coworkers at work. Every single person in your life it affects because you are accepting 80%. This slowly destroys you from the inside out. And if you're listening to this and thinking, well, it doesn't sound that bad, this sounds a little dramatic, then you're not the guy I'm talking to. I'm talking to me. I'm talking to the man that I was, who realized he was wasting away in his late 20s, early 30s. He was saying, Chris, you're already in your 30s. You promised yourself you would be this by now, and you're not. But I told myself, okay, things are going to change, and I decided to change. I didn't think about it for another 20, 30 years. I didn't plan to think about it for another 20, 30 years. I just did it. That's why I changed. But many of us feel this way, and we don't do anything. Or we take fake action. We'll read a book. We'll even schedule a call. We'll even apply to, I've talked to a guy who's like, yeah, I tried this program, this. I said, why did you try all these programs? It's like, well, they weren't right for me. No, you just didn't decide that you wanted to change. You just don't really want to change. As soon as it got hard, you quit. It's not that it's not right for you. It's that you're just not ready to do the work yet. That's all. Don't lie to yourself. Whenever you are the 80% guy, that slowly infects every person in your family. And I was a teacher for 14, 15 years. I forget what number it is, 14 or 15. No, it's 14, because I never got my 15-year pin. That was one of my goals. But I saw the kids who had the 80% parents. I saw the kids who had the 10% parents. And I saw the kids who had the 100% parents. There's a big difference. I also know this from everybody. You can observe this. You go out to a theme park, to a pool, to anywhere. You can see a kid models their parents. Not 100% in every single aspect of life, obviously. But if you are the father and your kids look up to you, and they see you daily making 180% decisions of, I don't want it that bad. You're raising kids who are like that. My son gets up with me at 5 a.m. almost every single morning and goes to the gym with me. For some guys, that would be 150% man. For Nathan, that's normal because I do it. There are also people living life out there who I would say, well, they're 200% man, living life on a completely different level than I am. Obviously, I am not the peak of the peaks. There's people out there way outperforming me. So for them, they're living on a different level. And my job is to constantly raise my vision so I can be that. This 80% man, it's also so dangerous because he avoids daily resistance, daily obstacles, and he seeks out comfort every single day, which robs him of the muscle of building inner resilience, which is necessary. That's why it doesn't matter how much money you make, you must always push yourself physically. Whenever you are constantly avoiding the daily discomfort of discipline, your daily habits, you're constantly seeking comfort, whenever the time comes for you to actually push the gas, you're not going to be able to do it because it's going to be totally new for you. Your default setting is to choose the easy, comfortable way. And because of that, you're going to choose the easy, comfortable way. You're not going to have this memory of yourself developing resilience every single day. And lastly, it's so dangerous because it ultimately ends in regret. And I talked to one of those guys this week who, their life now is full of regret. The kids are moved on. There's no time to turn back the clock 10 years and salvage anything. They are very far late in life. They can't reach the peak of their body. They can't reach the peak of their business. They can't reach the peak of their family. It's already passed on from them. But this man, this kind of 80% man, tells himself every single day, it's good enough. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm fine. He says that, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Nothing's wrong. Nothing. He tells himself that as his inner soul is hyperventilating, watching his life slip away, and then there's nothing he can do. And then he ends his life in regret. That's what happens. What's the ultimate end game of this? The ultimate pain? Why is it so dangerous? Because your life ends in regret. You get to the point where it's too late and you realize you didn't reach your potential and you could have. Not you didn't reach your potential because your country was attacked and you entered World War III. No, you didn't reach your potential because you like sleeping in warm covers. So it was a completely controlled scenario that you could have had to escape, but you chose not to. Like the metaphor I gave of the man who's in the prison cell is able to unlock it and is just looking at the key deciding not to because the prison cell has a comfy couch. It's like, I see the freedom on the outside, but the guard told me that if I did 20 push-ups, he'd let me out of the cell, and I'm not going to do that because 20 push-ups is hard. And right now I'm comfortable sitting on the couch. So I'm just going to continue to sit on the couch and stay here for the next 20 years. He has the key. He knows how to get out, but he's actively choosing not to. So why do guys get here? Because they're victims of moderate success. Moderate success. They're successful, and in their bubble, in their world, they might be at the peak. You know, you might be the peak of the peak to your circle of friends and to your family, but you know it's okay, it's just moderately successful. You also know people who are vastly more successful than you, but you're getting so much praise and attention and social proof from everybody around you that what you're doing is okay, that there's no pressure for you to leave there. So you've got moderate success and you're a victim of it. And the daily comfort of moderate success is a stronger pull for you. It's much more powerful than the pull of being excellent. The pull of an imaginary excellent life is not as strong as the daily comforts of being moderate. The pain of your life is not acute. Like I said, you're not suffering any acute, powerful pain right now, so you have no reason to get off the couch. Like, well, this is good enough, is what you tell yourself, but you know it's not. There's no one shoving a needle into you saying, get your ass up. You're complacently going to sleep. The pain of the 80% man is a dull, complacent, slowly compounding pain. It's not acute, it's not sharp, and because it's a dull pain, he continually chooses the dull pain of stagnation over the acute, sharp pain of immediate transformation and change. Like the guy in a prison cell, he knows he's going to sit there and be imprisoned for the next 20 years, but it doesn't hurt that bad. If he has to get up to do 20 push-ups to get out of the prison cell, it's going to hurt really bad. And he likes comfort, so he's going to continue sitting in that prison cell. This man is constantly surviving. He's never really truly living. I just did a podcast called Surviving versus Thriving. This guy is always good enough surviving. Things this man says. The 80% man always says, everything will be fine, which is just a cope. It covers the hypocrisy of his life. Everything's not fine. He knows it. But he says, everything's fine. Look, all these people are saying I'm fine, so I'm fine. But he knows it's not true. And it covers that inner pain. It's one of those noble lies. He says, things aren't that bad. He says, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll think about it. I'm not quite ready yet. And it's okay that I'm not quite ready yet because things aren't that bad. So I don't have to be ready yet. Because things aren't that bad in my life, I have no real motivation to move. And he tells himself this. He gets back to that pleasant, passive, comfortable state until he sees his reflection of his life again and realizes once again that his life is slipping away. He feels the pain. And then he copes once again. He might feign, he might fake action, he might read a book, listen to a podcast, feel good about himself, and then take zero action and once again get himself back into that undecided state of inaction. Here's the perfect metaphor. This guy is like a man who's standing on the second floor of his house. His house is burning. What he has to do to escape and survive is jump out of the second-story window, which is going to hurt. He won't die. He might break a couple bones, but he's going to finally live. But he chooses to stay in the second floor and die of smoke, die of carbon monoxide, die of smoke, die of carbon monoxide, because it's not an immediate pain. It's a slowly affecting him pain that's almost imperceptible. So he chooses to die up on the second floor by smoke rather than jumping out the window because it's immediately painful. The other reason why this happens is because of the noble lie. If you remember my Noble Lie podcast, one of them is I'm a provider. And guys say this as they can see the pain in their wife and their child's face of their absence. And they know that if they were more disciplined and more efficient and consistent and didn't have these vices, that they could be more productive at work and more present at home. And they know this, but they tell themselves, well, I'm providing for my family, so that means I'm a good father. And the 80% man who's moderately successful is providing monetarily, but in no other way. Or he's providing 80% in these other ways. He's a decent father. He's good enough. But he knows he's still snapping. He's still unpresent. He's still leaving them lacking. Things don't have to be in a total free fall for you to feel this pain. It could be painful because you know deep down that you're not giving them what you could be, and you are in control of that. You could be giving them a more patient, more present, more energetic father, and you are in complete control of your decisions not to or to do that. This guy stays stuck here because it's really easy to manage the excuses and low expectations of living an 80% life than it is to adopt the no excuses lifestyle and high accountability lifestyle of the 100% man. Of the man who gives himself high stakes, high expectations, high goals, and doesn't just think and talk and feel and plan about it. He actually holds himself to that, or he involves other men in this decision and really holds himself accountable and lives to 100% no excuses lifestyle. He knows that if he does that, all of his excuses are going to be bullshit, and he thrives off of excuses. The 80% man, his excuses are entertained by his wife, his kids, all his friends, because he's at 80% and everyone in his circle is at 75% or maybe even 20%. 80% is 100% in his bubble. And because he's at the top, everyone entertains his excuses. They say, oh yeah, it's okay. Yeah, of course. Well, you're so busy doing your job. Of course you don't have time for your family. Or of course you don't have time to go to the gym. Look how successful you are. But he's like, oh, I know that's not true. That's why that's that internal hell. And as this 80% man ages, you get up into your late 30s, 40s, 50s, your circle is other 80% men or less for this kind of guy. He surrounds himself with men who are usually a little bit below where he is to kind of boost his ego or to give himself some relaxation. He always tells himself, well, I just need to relax. So he surrounds himself with people who help him do that and also will buy his bullshit and his excuses. So because he's constantly surrounded by other men who are at 80%, it's just normal to him. And when you get into the later years of your life, it's really hard to break out of that because your whole circle of friends and your family and everyone is telling you that it's normal and it's okay, but you are the only person who knows it's not okay. But it's so normal to you. You have all this social proof telling you that your current life is okay, but you want to be more. So you're stuck with this social proof, all these people in your life telling you that's okay, and you're stuck with the daily comforts, and you're stuck with actually looking at your life and saying things aren't that bad, that all this convinces a lot of guys just to do nothing. You're living life at 80%, but you're also surrounded by lots of other men who are living life at 80%. You are stagnating, but so is everybody else in your life. So it's just normal to you. You're not surrounded by a brotherhood of guys who live life to 100% high accountability elite standard. If you were in that, you would stand out really quick and you'd be motivated to fit in with the 100%. But now you're not even motivated to keep 80%. You don't see it. It's imperceptible, but really you're sliding every single day. Maybe you were 80% 10 years ago, but now you're probably at 70% of what you really could be right now. If you're 40 years old, you've been living life at an 80% standard for the past 10 years. No, if you started at 100% at 30 years old, no, by 40 years old, you're probably living life at 50% of what you could have been by now, had you not sought comfort and given yourself so many excuses every step of the way. If you were surrounded by people demanding excellence and accountability from yourself, you would be living life at a 100% standard, and you'd be inspired to do so. But because everyone in your life is living at an 80% complacent, okay with stagnating standard, your life seems justified to you. It makes your excuses sound normal, whereas the 100% guy would call you out on your excuses, and you just stay there. It's like if you were in a wolf pack out in the wild, and you were one of the wolves. If you're in the wolf pack and you're the weakest member, you get left behind, or they eat you, or you get eaten. Everyone is encouraged to be the alpha. Everyone is encouraged to be strong, vicious. You're always hunting. You're always attacking and surviving. That is the 100% crowd. It's like a pack of wolves hunting together. The 80% crowd is like a bunch of house dogs who've let themselves get fat, complacent. They're just laying next to the trash can with their mouth open, hoping their owner throws them some food, just scrapes the plate off into their mouth. But everyone around you is the same as that, so it's okay with you. You've allowed yourself to become this fat, complacent house pet instead of a wolf who's actively striving for his best every day. Now, here's why. Because the wolf knows that if he's not at his best, there's really high stakes. He gets eaten. There's horrific stakes for the wolf if he is not at 100%. The house pet knows that they can barely exist. Like my dog Rusty, he doesn't have to do anything, and someone's going to be throwing him a frozen burger patty or something. He has a safety net. And because life is comfortable for Rusty, he does not push himself to be elite, and that's on us. But that is you if you are the 80% man. You have a safety net. Life is too damn comfortable for you, so you are not pushed to rise. You are not pushed to push yourself. You're the wolf. You do have that acute pain. The wolf has the acute pain of, oh my goodness, this other wolf is looking at me, they look hungry. Or this bear is coming. If I don't learn how to run fast, I'm going to get eaten. You as the fat house pet, you're like, well, it doesn't matter. If I don't go for a jog today, I'm still going to get fed. And that's what life is like if you're moderately successful in 80%. You're like that fat house pet who is going to get fed no matter what, but then you look at the wolf and you're like, ooh, but I could be that. So there's three things that keep you here. It's the comfort of daily life. It is the social proof you have in your life, your crowd that tells you that it's okay, all these other house pets that are complacent and stagnating because it's normal to you. And then there's your identity, the most important one. You've accepted that this is the man that you are, and you've lived up to it. Over the past decades, you've got more and more complacent. You've built rock-solid excuses and stories in your head, and that's just the guy you are right now. And there's massive consequences to this. Huge erosion of your self-respect. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you're casting a vote for the weaker version of yourself. James Clear talks about it all the time. The death of your ambition. Your muscle will atrophy. Your visions you had from your youth will be replaced by more quote-unquote realistic goals. Chronic fatigue and lethargy. As you get older, you can't keep this up. Your energy will really, really quickly decay from you if you're not actively pushing yourself. You do not develop resilience, as we said. If this is your lifestyle, the 80% man, you do not develop the inner resilience and strength it takes when it's needed for leadership in hard times. There's also effects on your family members. You have loss of respect from your wife. She does not respect a man who does not respect himself. If you are not pushing yourself, you become unconfident, your inner respect and fire dies, and that rubs off on everyone in your family. It infects your sons. Your sons begin to live life at an 80%. It neglects your daughters. Whenever you are unpresent, impatient, snapping, because of this lack of discipline, your daughters get used to that, and they'll seek out a man who also neglects them. And your standard becomes the family standard. So many guys in the Men of Fire program have said that, Chris, as soon as I started my macros and after a couple months of working out every day, holding myself to a high standard, all of a sudden my wife wanted to do it. All of a sudden my sons and daughters started working out with me. Everyone's doing their macros. Everyone's eating healthier. Our whole family combined has lost 100 pounds. Your standard infects the family. And the moment you say, it's okay, we can all let loose, the family's like, oh, dad's letting loose, we can all let loose. If you're living life at an 80% standard, your family will adopt that 80% standard. So how do you get out of it? You've got to burn the boats. You are so addicted to your story, you're so addicted to this cage that you've built to yourself. Your identity is so rock solid in the 80% man that you have to do something drastic. You need to set the stakes high. And that means you need to do a non-negotiable commitment to yourself. Give one of your buddies $5,000 and say, you get to keep this if in 2 months I do not lose 20 pounds or whatever the case may be. Sign up for a marathon. You do not get the refund. You don't get to make an excuse. You sign up for it. You need to create a point of no return. You need to engineer a situation where the shame and cost of inaction is greater than the discomfort of action. You cannot improve the 80% man. You must kill him. He is a sophisticated self-sabotage machine. Your escape begins with a conscious decision to end his reign and a declaration of the new identity that will replace him. So write a eulogy if you need to. Write down, this is the man that I am. These are his excuses. This is the story he keeps telling yourself. And just like I said on the last podcast, write that down and burn it. And they're going to say, this is the man that I am. This is the 100% version of me, the ascended version of me. This is the guy that I will be. Nothing else is acceptable. Your self-respect is shattered because you keep on breaking promises to yourself. So you have to do a one promise protocol. Give yourself one small promise that you must keep for the next 30 days. This is the simple solution, as you'll see, to many of the issues we face, is breaking promise to ourselves and killing our identity. So pick one promise and keep it. And lastly, you need to find a pack of wolves. That's the biggest thing. Your 80% mediocrity is so normal to you that you don't think it's a big deal. And as soon as you joined a tribe or you joined a pack of wolves and saw everybody else living at 100%, you'd immediately realize what you've been leaving on the table. You cannot escape an echo chamber. You need to get out of the echo chamber, but that is the life you've created for yourself. So intentionally subject yourself to the new pack of people who operate at a higher frequency. Hire a coach, join a brotherhood, find a group of men where your 80% is their 20%. You need to place yourself in an environment where your best day is just their warm-up. You have to submit yourself to a standard you cannot currently meet on your own. So this isn't about the result of the task. This is about proving to yourself that your word is your law. Every single day you keep the promise, you're casting a vote for the 100% man. This is how you reclaim the power and earn your right to make bigger promises later. This is what you must do. If you're the 80% guy, don't just listen to this, feel good, and do nothing. Take action. If you want to join a pack of wolves and join a group of men living life at 100%, and you're willing to jump out of the burning house, feel a little bit of pain and grow, commit, high accountability, then Men of Fire is waiting for you. Tap the link in the description and you can apply.